Some shows just don't tell a story. They remind you who you were when the world felt smaller, when growing up meant learning hard lessons quietly, and becoming a man wasn't about strength, but understanding. It's a series about memories, about family, about hard times changing everything, and that's why it still matters. The Wonder Years.
No, dude, no, not the Wonder Years, Wonder Man. It's Wonder Man this time.
Oh, because Wonder Man isn't about nostalgia, it's about identity in the spotlight, fame versus purpose, power versus control. This is the story about a man trying to define himself when a world already thinks it knows who he is. And whether Marvel finally delivers, it's exactly what we're talking about. Wonder Man.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Winter Wolf and King Z here. Gonna catch up with the MCU's latest offering, Wonder Man. And I know you've heard us kind of, sort of, well, maybe mostly just me roast this up front as being a complete dumpster fire in the waiting, dropped all at once on Disney Plus at a slow time of their programming. But King Z insisted we watch it because he thought it'd be fun. Let's hear what he's got to say.
America, I have another lesson for you.
Yeah. And the lesson is, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
I surprised you with that, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was pretty good. I think this was a really good show. It actually has a Marvel with a heart, as I referred to it.
Yeah, I was thinking kind of the same. I think this is the most earnest thing they've done. Honestly, I don't think there's any bullshit to this. I don't think there was really any kind of like grandstanding. There's definitely no messaging. There's nothing that would immediately put you off of wanting to watch it. I saw some people saying that the show is a little bit too far up its own butt in terms of like how actors kind of perceive like their value, their worth, like what they actually produce in society. Like they can take it comically too seriously. But I'm like, I don't know, man. It's a lot of people think like that when they're at that level of Hollywood, and
I mean,
they're gonna make
if you think
break, I don't know.
If you don't think actors like this, you've never watched an award show.
Right. No, but I mean, it's like, but who really wants to watch a show about award shows? You know what I mean? Because it is people so far up their own asses they can't breathe.
But I think they portrayed it pretty well. I love the Josh Gad being thrown in this and what happened to him.
Dude, I surprisingly didn't mind that. I'm like, in real life, you're kind of an insufferable douchebag. I get that.
But he actually portrayed that
part here.
That he was that, like the way he portrayed himself in this was like he's that insatiable douchebag.
Dude, the nightclub version of the Frozen song was too effing funny.
Yeah,
it's snowing, bitches. That was funny. I was like, all right, let's see. I feel like this was a serious show. It's not a sitcom. It's meant to be taken seriously, but I feel like they didn't take themselves too seriously, so they could give you some goofy stuff like that from time to time, and never at Wonder Man's expense, ever. No. Like never, not once. Like it played itself as a serious show.
No, yeah, it did great. And of course, we have Ben Kingsley in it, which is, I mean, Academy Award-winning actor there. Yeah. He's going to bring whatever he can to whatever role he's in, and him playing,
Slattery,
yeah. I loved it. Like he's thinking he's going to just come back after escaping out of prison and just have a normal life.
Well, the best part of that is that it looks like he is actually going to get that. And then he gets absolutely bulldozed at the airport by the TSA guys. So it's kind of funny. It was a bit of a jump cut. Like he's all just walking and talking on his phone, and then he's flattened into like a scene transition. I'm like, oh, okay. We are going to dial that up. All right. But, maybe we just talk about real quick about what the show's premise is, because I think that a lot of people, myself included, and I think you probably also to a degree, were probably expecting something different. I know you were mentioning you kind of thought this was going to be like an irreverent superhero show where it's Wonder Man, but he's going to be goofy Wonder Man trying to get the job in the movie as Wonder Man. I thought it was going to be the MCU, like what we get. And it's not really that at all. Like it's not a superhero show. Not remotely.
Well, what I thought it was going to be is a meta type show where there's this actor who wants to play Wonder Man, and somehow he gets Wonder Man's powers while he's
Yes.
becoming Wonder
Right.
Man in the movie.
Right.
But nope, it's not that at all.
Dude, it's not it's I remember telling folks that were asking me if the Joker is a superhero movie, and I'm like, no, it's a movie about a character that you recognize from like superhero stuff. And I feel like Wonder Man's kind of in that vein. Like Wonder Man, some people, it's a deep cut. He's like an L list character as far as like I can tell, right? I'm not, it's not, no, nobody I ever read. I never really follow him through any of his Avengers team ups or
I've
anything like that, or
I've
West Coast
seen him
Avengers.
because I recognize the big M on the shirt.
Yeah.
So I've seen him on different comic book streams, but I never really paid much attention to him. Usually I skipped those panels and kept moving on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And they did, of course, the Marvel obligatory 2019 race swap, which doesn't matter. They were telling a very different story here. Like this isn't Wonder Man as the comics did. I mean, I think what the premise here is that I don't even remember the character. What was Trevor? No, Trevor Slattery was the other guy. Who was Wonder Man's name? I don't remember. Simon. That's right. Simon, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, is a struggling actor. But he's he's making some money. Like he's involved in Hollywood. He's not like down on his luck. The girlfriend does leave him, and he does lose a job. But like he's got an agent in a reputable agency. And it comes to his attention that they're remaking the Wonder Man movie, and the original in this world has a special place in his heart because his dad had taken him to see it on a day where he was struggling as a kid, and dad recognized that and had him skip school, took him to the movie, spent the day with him. So when the movie remake was announced, he wanted in. So the gist of the show is him making certain kind of moves off color to get an audition, to land the audition, to get in the movie, to struggle making the movie, and then to, spoiler alert, to enjoy some success finally. Like he earned his spot. And it's not at all about him acquiring the mantle, developing his powers, getting a mentor, fighting crime. Like it's none of that.
No, he wants a normal life.
Yep. He wants to be under the radar, which adds a level of dimension to the project because they go out of their way. And the Josh Gad episode is the flashback episode that kind of explains this, where in the Marvel world, super empowered or meta humans or whatever their label is for these guys now. He's not technically a mutant, I don't think. I don't know what his deal is.
It would be an altered human because he was regular and then got his powers. So he would be an altered human in the Marvel.
They never really tell us how this version of the character got powers that I picked up on, right? He just
Wonder Man, it was pretty much like he was born with it.
Yeah. Right. But there's a law that says they can't be on movie stage. They're too dangerous. Like they can't be in movies. If they find out, they're going to get locked up by Department of Damage Control. Blah 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 blah. So he's got to be under the radar, keep his powers in check, which he does a terrible job of doing throughout this series, and somehow never ever
gets caught
unleashing the seismic explosion that happens like 3 times.
It always happens when he's in a
crowded area.
No, in emotional distress time.
Yeah.
When he can't control himself.
So basically, he probably should be locked up temporarily because, as we see, these explosions do damage. Like shit gets wrecked.
Yeah, he changes stuff on a ionic level.
Yeah, they mentioned that specifically as it's like this incredible energy source that can't really be. It can be measured, but it's not really understood, and it's like better than atomic energy or something. Like that's how they play it up.
And in the flashback episode, you find out, and you actually see this happen in episode 2 when he's going to the audition to be Wonder Man. Yeah. He had assigned a waiver called the Doorman Act.
Yeah,
and it's like saying you don't have superpowers, so you could be be doing the audition. And then they do a flashback episode. I think it was episode 4.
It was 4. It was 4. Yep.
Called
4. It was all in black and white. It was mostly in black and white. It was all in black and white
until the end.
Yeah,
when he's actually watching the video on the Doorman, he's like watching behind the scenes of.
Yeah, he's watching like a documentary on him.
Yeah,
that episode was wild.
Yeah, like you found a guy who's content with his job, and then he gets superpowers, and then he gets. He still doesn't really know what they are, but pretty much he enters the void, and people can walk through him, and he becomes like a door when it's blocked, and then he can also go through.
Ding
Josh
dong,
Gad,
y'all.
yeah, Josh Gad is his he becomes his private doorman pretty
Yeah.
much. And then because of that, he throws him in a movie with them, kind of like what Adam Sandler does. A lot of actors do. They throw in
Yeah,
their
yeah,
personal
brought his
guys.
friends up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he throws him in. He has like a very easy line where he walks through and he's like, "Ding dong," and it becomes like this catchphrase. He got really big, but apparently, when you get a lot of money, this is a lot of issues that you have with new young athletes. Is that
Yeah.
they go from having no money to becoming multimillionaires. They
Going
don't know how to
broke.
spend it, and they become broke. And this is exactly what happened to him. He had to choose what bills he's going to pay. So he's trying to come up with something new. They're going to do a sequel to the movie he's in.
And the movie is called, just for the lulls of it all, Cash Grab.
Yeah,
So the
Cash
sequel
Grab.
is Cash
Cash
Grab
Grab
2.
2. Yeah,
That's funny. I'm
that is
sorry, man.
funny. That is completely hilarious.
Yeah.
But he got like wicked drunk the night before.
Yeah.
Or in
He was
his
drinking day
trailer.
of. He was
Yeah,
drinking day of because he was drunk going to set, and then that gets mimicked later
yeah.
when
And
what's his face is drinking.
yeah, and then he kind of like throws up when Josh Gad jumps through him,
Yeah.
but gets caught because the power kind of goes away. And
Right.
Josh Gad is now missing off the set of Cash Grab 2. And because of that, the Doorman Act was instituted.
But see, that's a nice little there's a lot of character work in that in that one episode that I thought played better than the whole Wonder Man run. Like the doorman was a security guard at a bar who liked his gig. He was good with people. He liked his boss. Boss liked him. Customers didn't hassle him. He was happy. He was content. But he ended up with power. Josh Gad figured it out, offered him a job, and he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay right here." And Gad's like, "It starts at 200 a year full benefits." He's like, "All right, I'm on board."
Yeah.
And he makes that change, and he realizes quick, fast, in a hurry that you become a bit of a one-trick pony. Like you got a literal 15 minutes of fame, where he's constantly now looking on social media to see if he's still liked and relevant. And when he starts seeing comments like, "Damn, is this dude still famous? Somebody let me know when his 15 minutes
15
are
minutes
up."
are up. Yeah.
Somebody else is like, "Dude, go kill yourself." I'm like, the comments like, "Dude, that's real shit." Like that happens to people. And
Yeah.
it reminded me of like when we were kids, other shows like Family Matters and stuff like that, where like the nerdy sidekick guy like Urkel had like the "Did I do that?" or Bart Simpson had the "Eat my shorts." Like when you repeat the one liner, you become the joke. And that happened to him in the episode where he was making late night talk show appearances and he was getting memed on by his own thing. And when you try to move away from it, people don't want to hire you for that. They still want you to be the punching bag for the thing that made you famous, you know? So there's a lot of good character work for a flashback episode that's completely removable from the whole series. They just showed you that to show why there was a Doorman Act. The series run did not need that,
No.
you know?
They
But
could
it
have
ended
an
up being one of the better
explanation point
episodes.
or something like
Right.
that. But I think this is actually one of the better episodes, and it needed it to
It really was.
fill in, because now you don't have to have a filler of the Wonder Man, his adventure to become Wonder Man in the movie, as well as everything else that happens.
Right, because all the goofy superhero stuff happened to the Doorman, right? Which was solid. But we talk more about like the main of the plot here, where they kind of intertwine Simon and Trevor, is that Simon's on the job hunt. He gets fired off a job early, which I thought that was a great scene as well. I want to talk specifically about that.
It's kind of implied in the words.
How he talked, dude. He talked his way out of a job, and at first, like the director's like, "Oh, it's not a bad idea. Okay, that's cool." Hey, I'm Stacy from from casting. We're gonna move in a different direction. He's like, "Oh,
your character has been cut,
been written off the show." But it's because he talked himself out of the job.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he dug too deep. He went too far. He overthought the 2-line part he was supposed to have.
Yeah,
So you got Simon, then you got Trevor Slattery, #/ not the Mandarin. I still fucking hate Iron Man 3. I should probably go back and rewatch it. It's been like 20 years. I might hate it less. I don't know. But Ben Kingsley kills it. But he's basically, I don't remember how or when he escaped or in what Marvel project that he got out of jail. Was that the end of Iron Man 3?
Hail
I
the
don't
King.
remember. When was that? What was that part of?
It was him. It was that character in jail.
But yeah, but when did he get out of jail?
In that series.
What the hell is All Hail the King?
It's a mini series. I think it's like
Missed
4
it.
episodes.
Dude, totally whiffed on it. Had no idea. So he's out. He gets picked up and basically offered the deal. Like, hey, we need you to get close to this guy we want to arrest. Get in close, wear the wire, get us some info that makes it actionable so we can lock him up. And maybe we don't put you back in jail where you belong because we still think you're the Mandarin. Pretty
And
much.
some of those things were so great too, because it was like they're talking to him, like either there's option one where you go back and finish your prison sentence,
Option two. What's option
or
two?
yeah, that no, you're like, and then option two, I need you to get close to someone.
Dude,
Option two, I choose option two.
dude, he just dialed right in on it. Again, Kingsley slays. He really did.
His
He did a
timing is
banger
great
job.
in this, and then
He was
him
fantastic.
becoming the mentor character, but not for the superpowers, but for his acting.
Right.
Because he's looking at his notes, like these notes are garbage.
Yep. Like, the problem is your notes suck. I love the Slattery character though, because he's constantly like, he's very likable, right? But
Mhm.
he's a flawed human being. They do give you enough to chew on that, like, you know, you got an entire episode where he goes to meet Joey Pantoliano
Yeah.
and about how he's
That was
basically
funny.
everything Slattery could have been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he was drinking it because Slattery sets up this whole bit where he's mentoring Simon and just becoming friends because he still thinks he's getting close to, you know, drop a dime on him.
Mm.
But he does kind of turn away from that path early when he yanks the wire and he breaks the memory card and everything. But
Yeah.
he's been telling Simon all along, oh, you know, I was on this show and you know, the other co-lead stabbed me in the back with the director and got me fired. Then it was all downhill after there. And then when they go to meet the guy because they need to record, you know, a demo reel or whatever, or an audition tape at his house,
Yeah.
Joey Pants is like, dude, you were drunk on the set every day. You could hardly stand up. I didn't have to say anything, dude. They let you go because you couldn't do the job.
And
It
you said
wasn't
that you
me, it
pulled
was
me
you.
aside and said that being the lead was too much for you.
Right. He reminded him, and that just pisses him right off because it's like that blunt reality check right in his face. That was another great piece that started as comedy. And you could see that he was Joey Pants was being a bit of a condescending douche. His house is nice, all the awards, all the accolades, and the recognition. And
And him
you know,
being
Trevor
rich for
Slattery's
real
been to jail.
estate.
Right, you got to get into real estate, Simon. You got to do it. The market's coming. It's going up. So that was another good section, played really well. But it all builds up Trevor's character in a great way that I was not expecting them to do with this show. I really just thought it was going to be some goofy shit.
Yeah. No, this show had a lot of heart. It's an 8 episode run, so I watched it all on Saturday, I believe, of this last weekend. So you guys can watch this in one sitting. I think they're like half an hour
It's 30,
episodes.
34, 34, 35 was the longest one, and that's including credit times. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
but it's
brief.
not wasted time like in shows like Ahsoka and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Everything has meaning and purpose in it. And and you don't get those stupid episodes or those overbloated moments when you throw in that a flashback episode that actually means something and that can
right.
hit like the Doorman did.
Yeah, for sure. I think that this is a slow moving show. That's not to say it's bad, but it's slow because it's
Mm.
not a thrill a minute, beat 'em up, shootout, car chase, superpower, sky blue beam. It's not that. That this is an introspective look at character and how they relate to each other, how
Mhm.
they form that odd couple kind of vibe, how when the other shoe drops for them in episode 7 or whatever, it mimics the scene that they were originally rehearsing
Yeah.
about
When they
how
betrayed
Wonder
him.
Man's partner sells him out. You're like, dude, when they rehearsed that, when they went through that twice, I'm like, okay, that's how this is actually going to go down at the end. And of course, the not Mandarin gets put in that position where he's like, I don't know, I have been following you, but you know, but I gave him nothing really because fuck him, I wasn't going to do it.
And he's like, I'm
And
trying to find a way out of it for both of
right.
us.
And Simon's like, oh yeah, whatever, piss off, I'm out. And then, dude, Trevor Slattery makes like he makes the hero play of the episode. Like
Yeah.
when damage control is coming for Simon, he does this last second fucking video, and they shoot it great too because it looks like the cops are converging on Simon's apartment building,
Yeah.
but they're not. They're converging on Trevor's apartment building because he's gone back into character and he drops them the America, you never saw me coming. Like he
Yeah.
hits him with another video that said, oh, that explosion that happened over there on the studio lot, all me. It was me.
Yeah.
Because Damage Control's ready to get Simon for it because they know he's auditioning as Wonder Man. They know he caused the ion explosion. They tested it. They were there. They checked. You know.
I think it worked great too because it goes back to the whole Mandarin piece where he gives a lesson about like how movies are the propaganda machine, try to make a
Hide it
hit
right
against
in.
them and destroy them. And he's like, the Wonder Man set bomb, that was me.
That was me. I don't know what's this dude's accent at that point. Like, is it some weird rural West Virginia, Texas thing? Like, what is this supposed to be exactly?
I don't know, but it was they showed the his like audition tape to become the Mandarin too when he was a young actor.
Oh, get out of
Remember
here.
they showed it was one of the cold opens where he was there and he was like,
oh yeah, you're right. I
like,
remember.
Could you make it more scarier? And he's like, America.
Because he was just doing like regular, normal, like reading voice, and you could hear it was off screen. You could be like, no, that's not quite where we're going. It's scarier, more sinister. Yeah. And then he breaks into the draw.
He's like,
but I think he was frustrated and he was just doing it.
Let us worry about that. We just need you to do this. Like it was just like they were loading him up on drugs, women, and alcohol and giving him money. And he just wanted to be an actor. And he was talking about one of the things about being an actor is that an actor it's like holding a mirror up to nature. And like they can become anything when they need to be. And like they're very important, and that's where you see the self-righteousness of actors in this, like how important actors are, because we're there to put on this for other people, and it's like an actor could save someone's life, and that's where this whole thing plays out. It's like he's trying to save Simon,
right?
But I love like how everyone recognizes him in the Mandarin too, and they're like all excited. And he's like, "I really did like the role of the Mandarin. You really committed to that role." And he's like, "Oh, well, thank you." Or like when he auditioned for Wonder Man as well, and they're like, "Oh, that guy's lovely. Who is he? I think he's a wanted terrorist.
I think he's a terrorist,
or a former terrorist."
Yep. It had some funny bits there. If you had to, I had this thought about this show, and in my head, I think this show is closest in type to WandaVision, because I feel like every other Marvel show between WandaVision, which was the first one, and this, which is the most recent one, really is a paint by numbers superhero plot of the week kind of crap show, high budget, bunch of junk effects, characters I don't care about. But where WandaVision did that gimmick where they tried to do a different decade of TV for the first three as they were getting to the reality. Right. This show is basically it's just like it's almost like The Office. It's just us watching these two guys try to get the job and the shit that happens to them. Like there's no weird shit that happens in between except that flashback episode.
Yeah, which I think it fits that whole Marvel spotlight. Like it's not it's part of the bigger world, but it doesn't impact the story of the bigger world.
Well, I guess that's kind of where I wanted to go next. And I had this other thought accompanying that directly where I'm like, I feel like this is the kind of show, right? I've watched it once. You've watched it once. I'm probably never going to watch it again. I don't ever expect to see this character in Doomsday. I don't ever expect him to see him come through in the Punisher one-off or anything like that. Like it's just done and gone. And I don't think not that I don't think this is knocking down any doors anyway, numbers-wise. I feel like nobody's going to talk about this by March, right? And I wonder if the MCU on Disney Plus wasn't such a damaged brand, if it wasn't so poorly considered now, if it would be considered a better show, or if these kind of just straight up drama pieces would play better if the rest of the brand wasn't so diluted or crapified. Like any thoughts on that? Because I'm kind of figuring that's how it would go.
So I think this show would have a better response if we didn't go through phase 5. Because this would have been a perfect, just a standalone miniseries as it was. And I think they held on to it for that. I think they believed they had something and it didn't fit in anywhere to fit they're trying to fit square pegs into round holes to
Mm,
connect the whole multiverse story, where you had this standalone show and they had no idea where to fit it. Then, as everything was falling apart underneath them, they're like, well, we need to empty the vault. We're starting over. Let's go ahead and just put this out. People might enjoy it. We're going to have a little break with Brand New Day and then going into the 2 new Avengers movies is the only 3 Marvel projects coming out in the next 2 years.
right.
So I thought they probably thought this was a perfect time to put this out. It's just something like, hey, this is more of what we're going for. Something of substance, something of character, something that people would be proud of to make.
See, I wonder though if we can really go with that, because if this has been in the can for a few years now, this should have predated phases 4 and 5, or it should have at least been. It was being created during phase 4. It was being created right after Endgame rolled through and kind of closed off. And
Yeah,
everybody
wasn't that
really
phase
considered.
5? Or was that phase
No,
4?
Endgame was 3. Endgame was the end of phase 3.
Okay, so it was made during phase 4 because it was made around the same
Right.
time WandaVision was. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying, right? And that because WandaVision kicked off the MCU on Disney Plus shows. I wonder though if this show, if they really did think they had something, because it seems like it would have fit exactly from a casting perspective what they wanted, what they were obsessed with back in 2020ish, where they wanted a more diverse lead face on a show. They had a strong black lead in this role. Maybe if they could have put that silver light label on it and just put it out as like its own separate branch with the what ifs and the other things like Echo, which doesn't really move the story forward either. You know what I mean? With Werewolf by Night, which was it's a fun one off. It's obviously not going to have anything to do with your phases or whatnot. But I don't know if I don't think they can get away with these kind of shows now. I don't think they have a draw to them.
Oh yeah, they won't have the spotlight shows anymore.
I think this is it.
Yeah, I think this is it of the spotlight shows of these lesser known hero types.
Yeah.
But Werewolf by Night I believe still has a shot to be something more if they really do pull the trigger on Midnight Suns.
True. I'd forgotten about that. They could tie that in neatly there. But you know what I mean? But Werewolf by Night was like, I don't even remember. Was it a 1 episode, but it was like an hour long or like hour? I don't remember if it was 1 or 2. It wasn't long, but it was very stylized. It was nothing like other stuff that they've put on the small screen at all. Just it was shot to look like an old timey, like I think even their frame rate was a little different if I remember right. Like it wasn't shot conventionally. So, but I don't think I think you're. I don't think
93.94 if you're wondering.
Is that standard now or is that something different?
That's standard now.
But it had a different look to it. Maybe they can do all kinds of stuff with like film grain and all kinds of effects. It looked old, you know what I mean? And it was intentionally supposed to look old. Like it was supposed to look like an old black and white horror movie. But I don't know that they have the creative or the financial balls to do those kind of things anymore. Like I don't think we're going to get another character study at what I don't know the Scorpion would look like or something as his villain career before he became Scorpion as a whatever. I don't think they're into that anymore. I think they're over that. I think they know they can't do that.
I think Moon Knight was also around this time, and they released Moon Knight, which
that was show number 2. Yeah,
and it really didn't, tie into the bigger MCU universe,
true.
But he can, he's out there.
He's in New York. Yeah. True.
New York and Egypt, because But I think and Oscar Isaac was amazing in that role.
Well, that's what I mean. Like the Yahya Abdul Mateen, like he wasn't Black Mantis in the DCU stuff. I mean, like this dude can act. He's got some game, and I feel like they probably wasted him here. Like they probably could have bulked him up and got him to be Blade. I don't know. Like there's probably an opportunity
Blade, or maybe the recast of T'Challa.
Dude, there you go. Just saying, right? But I don't think there's an appetite for these not fisticuffs explosion shows that don't drive anything forward. And this show doesn't do that, but it wasn't supposed to.
No.
But I feel like this is going to get some degree of like the Andor treatment. It's following a bunch of duds. It's following a bunch of apathy. It's following a bunch of people are just over it. That's apathy. I guess I just was redundant there, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so there's no appetite to just sit down and watch this. I also don't, I'm not sure that anybody, if they had done this a regular MCU drop, who watches this show week to week, because it is a slower show. shit really doesn't pop off until that flashback episode. Not really. And that's
And it
4 episodes
really
in
doesn't really pick up much more in the other
until the end.
episodes.
Yeah.
It is a very character-driven 8
Yep.
episodes.
Right. You get one fight in an alley. You get one prison break. You get one. I'm running out of the house because the cops were at the front door. I don't know how the cops didn't just follow them.
And
But
one
whatever.
big
That's a nitpick.
explosion.
And one really big explosion because when you cut back to that, it's big. Like that
Actually,
studio's in some shit.
I really did like the scene at his mother's birthday too. Like
Solid.
when you finally find out that it like what his power is, and like his family knows too. Like you saw the whole thing with the fire and everything like that, but they all knew it wasn't a fire, but they all played it up like it was. But it was actually him releasing his power, and that's where he was put on the radar of the Department of Damage Control.
I'm not even sure that adds up unless they're retconning how long damage control's been around. But that's just me. I guess maybe by this point, if this dude's supposed to be like 30 and they said that happened when he was like 13, 17 years ago, yeah, maybe damage control was already there. It's easy enough to say they were always there, I guess. That could work. But I did like that family scene. I do you know me, I'm a sucker for family dynamics, and this show actually had a touch of that.
Awesome.
Loved his mom. I loved Trevor Slattery talking to his mom and talking to his brother. His brother's a giant dick.
Yeah.
But like that tracks because like brother's the responsible one without the power, without the superpowers, but he's making the money for the family, taking care of mom. He throws that in his brother's face every opportunity he gets, being like, hey, it's a nice gift you got mom for her birthday. And if you bought it and it's expensive, it's probably my money, right? That I gave her that she gave to you. So how about F you, stop this acting bullshit and get a real job.
Yeah.
But brother comes around at the end, which I like. He's like, dude, I'm sorry I didn't believe in you. Congratulations. I'm really happy for you. I love you.
Which goes right into an artist's life. Like that's how it is a lot. Like you have that artistic person who wants to be the actor, who wants to be the painter, the photographer, and until they get that big break, that's how it feels for them. Like everybody else. Yeah, everybody else is out there making money, and you're here struggling. Like especially musicians. Musicians have the worst, playing different bars every night. You don't know where you might get your next meal. Sometimes it's like it's hard out there to become. You just don't show up to Hollywood, and all of a sudden they're just throwing you in movies. Like you have to really work hard. I mean, if you go to Hollywood and you talk to anybody in a job that has nothing to do with movies, all of them are actors.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. For sure. Everybody at a car wash, everybody working retail, everybody at a restaurant, everybody at a hotel. Yeah, for sure. 100%. But yeah, I was definitely on the plus side of things for the family dynamic, especially with the dad. I like the bit that it was dad that kind of recognized son was struggling, kept him out of school. Oh, that sounds like a really bad cough. Go see this movie though. You could tell that he loved his son. It looked like they lost him early. It looked like dad died probably when both of the boys were on the youngish side. But you could tell dad was present without being a stereotype, without being an over course correction. Like, because you can't have anybody but like blonde, blue-eyed white guys be like the villains and things right now. Like dad was just dad. Like they didn't go out of their way to tell you he was like a 4-digit IQ at MIT or anything. He was just a dad.
Yeah, I also like that
mom was just mom.
passed
I love
away
that.
and didn't just walk out on them. I think that was
that's what I mean. Like dude, right? Not everything needs to be stereotype to be authentic. Like no, dude, he's just a dad, and they miss him and they talk about him fondly. I like
this chicken tastes like it was born to be in the sauce.
Born to be in the sauce. Like, yup. I wanted that dude's chicken. That's all I'm saying. Like,
I know. I got hungry
like that.
When he says that,
Instantly.
I was like, "Oh, I want to try that chicken."
Dude, I think what are they talking about? They were talking about jerk chicken or curry chicken, and I was like, "Yup,
yeah,
yup. Bring it. Send the plate. Send it." But there was a good family party they had. I love that they were as Trevor's talking, all the different family members, he's trying to hit them up for info, and they're like, "You got a lot of weird questions, don't you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just trying to figure out my buddy." And then the one person asked him, "What are you even doing here? Why are you at my mom's party?"
And the neighbor's like, "You're right. She is horrible to talk to."
Right? That was good shit. That was good stuff. Good stuff. But I'll say this, kind of the last thing that I wanted to mention on there, on Trevor and Simon's relationship. I like the fact that, because I guess typically it wouldn't have gone this way. I think Trevor early on decides he's probably not going to burn this guy. because after the family barbecue, he put, or family party, it wasn't really a barbecue, it was just like a get together.
Yeah, family get
He,
together for the mom's birthday.
For mom's birthday. He figures out that like literally Simon's been dumped on his entire life by all these people talking down to him. So he has Simon pull over and he's out to go take a leak. And he takes the wire out and he smashes the memory card. Dude, that's like episode 2 or 3. Like it's early. You know what I mean? So he's already decided by like prior to the halfway point of the show, I have enough evidence to cook this kid. Not going to do it. I'll figure something. He's like, I'm smart enough. I'll figure out a way. And then he spends 3 episodes trying to figure out a way. And then when the cards are down, oh, the way to get out of this is it's to get Simon out of this because I've lived my life. I think he says that to him in like their final conversation. He's like, I've lived my life. Go live yours. Like, don't waste it. Like, don't waste this. Some good shit. I like that. Not what I was expecting. I was dead wrong. I was dumping on this show a year ago as being like, it's got to be a product of its time. Piece of crap messaging, propaganda crap. I mean, the bad guy was white, but he was just kind of a dick, whatever. But that wasn't the point of the show. Wasn't that at all. This wasn't like a Captain Falcon winter douche knuckle. You've got to do better, Senator. It wasn't that at all.
I mean, he wasn't really a bad guy. He's part of a federal agency trying to bring people to justice.
But do justice before you commit a crime, though?
Oh, well, with superheroes, it's like, they can also blow up a city block, and would you want to prevent that?
That's some Minority Report shit, though. They got rights. That's all I'm saying. But they weren't wrong because dude actually did damage. That's the thing. Like when he explodes in his apartment, it sends shockwaves through that blow out other windows. Yeah. Right? That happened. And then at the end, when he's destroying the studio lot, like nobody got hurt. No, really? Nobody. All right, maybe.
Because it never really left. It never left the sound stage.
Dude, you start throwing glass and shattered cement in all directions in a boom. The shockwave alone should have cooked somebody in the apartment building. That's all I'm saying. The ionic explosion. You know what I mean? Should have done something, but I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised by this. I'm not sure I'd recommend it to everybody. Like I'd probably recommend it to like writer friends or friends that I know are fans of like slower, like you said, more character driven stuff. But like your general MCU fan that's literally looking for the next flashy thing, there's nothing here for those guys. Like not at all.
Not at all.
This is Joker 1. You know, there's no flash in the pan action here.
The director that's directing Wonder Man, that guy was great. Very what's that? Visionary.
Yeah. Visionary director Guillermo del Toro.
Yep, that's who I thought of. Now try to do this scene and you're missing your badger.
Yeah. Wait, what? But there's some shit going down like that. Like, they're doing stuff like that. He was a fun little presence. Yeah. I guess the only thing I think that like if I had a gripe, like just like a couple little ones, like how didn't law enforcement find them in the low speed getaway leaving the Mexican kid's house? There's a front door and a back door, and they brought like 40 cops. I don't get that. Right. Number 2, if Department of Damage Control knew the explosion was caused by Simon, why didn't they go to his apartment first? Like, why did they wait till the next day? Why was that? Why are we waiting on this? Like, you just go. You send A team there and B team to the studio for forensics, right?
Well, because you need evidence. You can't just...
No, you don't, because you were going to lock this dude up anyway at the drop of a hat based on the word of a fugitive terrorist.
And you didn't really need evidence. Which he got him. He's like, who's gonna believe me? I am a convicted terrorist.
That was pretty slick. That was a pretty slick scene. I did like that.
Yeah.
And then
I could just be saying this to save my own skin.
Yep. He told him flat out. And then the bit with the Times reporter, she got onto Trevor's skin really quick for a dude that like always had an answer and could like dance around things a little bit and say the right thing to get on people's good side.
Because it got thrown right up front about what happened to him in the airport, and then his mark is sitting right next to him. So I think he got it. If
dance, motherfucker, dance.
Yeah.
But I get it. They have 8 episodes. They're 6 minutes long. You don't really have time.
They had to get that
had to happen. It had to happen, right? It had to set up the next thing. And again, the ending, I think, was satisfying enough because he took the fall. He was willing to go in. There was no backup plan. He wasn't going to somehow skadoodle his way out of getting locked up. He got locked up. And then Simon does Wonder Man stuff, and busts him out of jail, and I guess is turning his back on his career now or something. I
He
guess I
turned
don't
his
know.
back. That's what it had to be because he had to turn his back
Yeah,
on his career to save his friend,
right.
unless he thought he could not be recognized
Maybe he
or
just threw a
like
mask on or
that was
something.
the nitpick we had here was that dude who he paid
Yeah,
like he,
ruining the security guard's life because he's going to jail. He's going to
yeah,
Supermax as an accomplice, dude.
yep,
Fact. That dude's toast. The
that guy's
payoff ain't
toast.
good enough. They're looking for the money now, and they're going to review tapes and see King Z walking the new guy down
Yep.
the hall and then veering off to the bathroom. Yeah, that
Yeah,
guy's done.
that poor guy. Even the money wouldn't be enough, so they would confiscate the money.
Gone, dude, gone. Frozen.
Yeah.
Losing the house. Kids are on the street. It's over. Dude, you basically Heisenberg the family. It's done. It's over. But I know the
No,
writer's like,
they
oh
tried
no,
to
he's a good
justify it
guy.
by like, oh, they're gonna pay him off, he can retire now, he doesn't have to do this job
Yeah,
anymore,
dude, I
and
get why he thought that, but like,
yeah.
no, that's
No.
you're still
You
toast.
you are an accessory after the fact.
Yep. Like you telling your public defender that, dude, I don't know where the money came from. Okay.
But I had an actor living in my house who played Wonder Man for to learn how to play me, and I
Saying,
brought him into work on the same day there was a
yeah,
jailbreak.
with fake ID. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, dude, you brought this dude in who had fake shit. So I
Mhm.
don't know. That was a bit too stupid, neat wrap up, but it was cool that dude went back and saved his
Yeah,
friend.
that was a
I'll
cool
I'll
part,
give
but
him that.
yeah,
It's some
you kinda
superhero
just
shit.
have to leave a
Yeah.
little bit of that behind and just be like, "You know what? It was a cool wrap up, though."
But it was dumb. It was a little dumb, but at least we get the flying bit, which was kind of cool. Like he just yeeted that door right off. He's like, "Hey,
Mm,
dude, Simon, what are you doing here?" Yeet.
yep.
And then again, and that got me, dude. I got one more. I got one more bonus nitpick. So it's a prison designed to contain superhero threats, right?
Yes, and a
And the
superhero broke out
superhero
of it.
guy got in there and just yeeted the door out. There's no laser containment. There's no green kryptonite gas.
This one,
He
talk
was in the
about.
minimum security wing. It was just
Yep.
regular shit.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
okay,
this is a guy with no
okay,
superpowers. That's the
okay.
only that you could justify that one.
You wouldn't think that there's detection units or something inside that can pick
There
up
should have been, but,
super.
like,
There should have been.
he melted the cameras.
Yeah, he did melt the camera. But what about the 47,000 cameras from the perimeter fence inward? You
Yeah,
got them all? Nobody noticed the trail of blackouts
yeah. As
coming
this guy
in?
walks.
Right, right. Which is the best part in every heist movie ever is when cameras start going out on the monitor and the CCTV one by one. And everybody's like, must just be a glitch in the system, dude. I don't know. All
They're
right.
all rebooting.
Right, it's the same. Well, you know how that's how they got around that in the Mission Impossible age, where now they do what they we uploaded a 45-second loop.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what everybody says. The cameras don't go out no more. Just a
yeah,
45-second loop that we
45 seconds
uploaded to
away
the mainframe.
that just teach play the same thing, which was invented in what movie? Honored with Hudson Hawk on that one. Bruce
Did they
Willis.
do that first? I was going to say Mission Impossible 3. That's the first time I
You're
remember
gonna
it.
be
I remember they did
watching
that.
last night's reruns and miss tonight's exciting new episode. It was the actual line.
And that was like 10 years before Mission Impossible 3 at least. So yeah, we have to give it to Bruce. But I said I probably wouldn't recommend this to everybody. Give me your thoughts on if you would, if you wouldn't, and then we'll wrap things up here.
I would recommend it. Yes, I would give them the disclaimer up front that this isn't your standard superhero show. It's actually a superpower concealment show, is the way
Fair
I
description.
could put it. But I believe that the character work, and of course, watching Ben Kingsley work is just amazing.
On the show.
Yeah.
On the show.
But it's a very heartfelt, smart show where you don't have a real bad guy. I would not call them the real bad guys in this. They're just
a little cartoonish.
They're doing their investigation into them. They didn't just go up and arrest them and then we're like, oh, we'll figure out what we're going to charge you with. They're trying to build a case.
True.
So I could go with that. These are people just trying to do their job.
For sure.
And save their job, which they do. And the person who needs to be fired is the person who designed this superhero prison. Because what's up with that little beam that's like that triangle thing that just kind of sticks off on the top there? Dude, that's going to be break off and everyone's going to be able to run off.
I don't know, man. Nothing screams high profile prison out in the middle of the desert like a giant ass building with like a spired surface out of a Brandon Sanderson novel. Just throwing that out there.
But yeah, I think this was a great series, limited miniseries, and I believe a lot of people should go watch it just to show them, hey, maybe some more shows like this might be good for the audience.
True. All right, I think that's gonna wrap us up on Wonder Man. I'll say I enjoyed. I'm glad we actually found time to crank this out for the beginning of February. So if you guys want to let us know in the comments below if you've watched Wonder Man, if we've talked you into at least checking out the first episode, you've been warned. It does move a little slowly, but you're not in it for the high speed chase. You're in it for the journey on this one, guys. So let us know if you're going to check it out. Let us know if we should maybe go back and get King Z to retro watch Echo. He'd probably like that. He probably wouldn't. And we'll see. He won't. And we'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.